we're here, Peter and I are here on this earth as you are to be in service to others. And we all have our different way of being in service and helping out our community, whether it's somebody who's just doing tech, right? That's still helping out our world. And somebody who's cleaning garbage, that's being in service too, because what would the world look like? So our way of being in service to humanity is by holding space for them on their healing journey and helping them to face the things about themselves, whether it's physical, emotional, etc., that maybe they have a hard time facing, and really holding the container so somebody can take the reins and heal themselves.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk. We feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Dr. Jessica Chichester, who is an intuitive healer, teacher, speaker, author, entrepreneur, and co-founder of HOTE Healing Oasis in Stamford, Connecticut, a pioneering wellness center that blends biohacking, energy medicine, and holistic therapies. A Hall of Fame athlete turned doctor of holistic life counseling. She's also an implant illness survivor and plant medicine guide who helps people reclaim their vitality through detox, cellular regeneration, and spiritual alignment. Dr. Jessica bridges modern science with ancient wisdom to awaken the body's innate ability to heal itself. So Dr. Jessica, welcome and glad to have you here.
Hi, thank you so much. Happy to be here.
Yeah, so let's talk about with this, Dr. Jessica. How did you first get interested in the medical field? We'll kind of go broad at first, like the medical field. How did you first get interested in it?
I mean, it was really sheer survival. When I was a kid, I was, had mental health issues. I was deeply depressed. I was really trying to navigate myself into healing. And one of my first jobs was at the health food store. And it was the first health food store in Stamford, Connecticut. And it was there where I started working with vitamins. I started learning about yoga, Kundalini yoga, aromatherapy, plants, the beauty of plant medicine. Actually, there was a bookstore down the street. I started reading about quantum physics. I started writing poetry. I came to the clearest realization that health is not just one thing, that it's a culmination of things that we do holistically in our everyday life that creates health. So just eating well is one piece of the puzzle, and listening to good things is one piece of a puzzle. But that's when I really started getting into health and the navigation and learning how to heal myself.
Okay. And now in your introduction, you were a implant illness survivor, and that's kind of also, I'm sure that kind of led to you going down this path as well. But could you talk a little bit about that? Like, what was that journey like?
Yeah, I mean, it's a journey that a lot of women are going through, and as many women know, a lot of our pain points, we go through them silently. So what I'm saying is women are innately like we're givers. We want to help. We put other people first, right? We have that maternal sense. And operating like this, I didn't know how bad my implants were impacting me until I came to my breaking point. So this is really how it happened. When I was young, I was very, like in a nutshell, when I was young, I was very holistic. I was navigating my whole healing journey. I was getting into yoga, and my mom, who was a good, Protestant Christian, was like, you do yoga, you're going to hell. And that was the mindset during that time, with people not understanding culture and people, and where the source in which all things flow.
Mhm.
So I started getting into weightlifting,
Mhm.
and long story short, we can talk about that later. I became a Hall of Fame athlete, one of the top 10 strongest women in the world, one
Wow.
of the first inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I was also in the Olympic trials for hammer throwing, so which is an iron ball and a wire.
Mhm.
So after all I'm telling you this background because this this weightlifting it was definitely at the time a male dominated field. You didn't see a lot of women competing in sheer strength. You saw bodybuilding and fitness modeling and all that sort of stuff. And so I was competing with the big boys, and I I got a lot of slack. So, long story short, we can get into that more later. I got implants. When I was done with my career, after I got into the Hall of Fame, I was really trying to hit some numbers. So I wanted to hit the world record in the deadlift, which
Mhm.
was 600 pounds in my weight class at the time. And so right before my last competition, I had 300 pounds fall on my face. It
Ooh.
crushed my face, displaced my jaw, nerve damage in my neck. I had herniations in my spine. I had torn my hamstring, all these physical problems. And I knew that I was so, I'll not, addiction could be a bad thing. I was so addicted to the lifting and to the lifting heavy and to the goal of getting, the world record in the deadlift that I just was like, you know what? Let me trade in my biceps for boobs and get implants
Mhm.
because that's going to be my Achilles heel. That's going to be my weak point because once they cut the breast tissue, once they cut under the muscle, you can't lift like you did,
Mhm.
not to that degree. And so I got implants, and and then a couple of years later, I ended up getting butt implants.
Mhm.
So I went to like the Butt King in Beverly Hills. So now, and I'm like a pretty broad girl. You couldn't tell that I had 8 pounds of implants in me. It looked proportional to my body. So
Mhm.
in hearing it, the regular mind is just like, what? That's a lot of implants. It looked, they were big, but it looked pretty normal.
Mhm.
I didn't know. So I was walking around with these implants for years, for a decade. Um, implants were implants ruined my body, but
Mhm.
it taught me how to save my health, and it gave me the compassion and the action for helping to be in service to women, and especially through my business, HOTE Healing Oasis.
Mhm.
So there were a lot of lessons that I learned from my implants, but yeah, the when I first got the butt implants, I woke up after surgery and I felt like, and I don't say this lightly, especially as a woman to other women, like
Mhm.
I felt like I got violated.
Mhm.
I couldn't move. I had to take a month off of work. I couldn't sit down on the toilet to go to the bathroom for a month.
Wow.
Yeah. And I had a pickup stick to pick things up from the floor because I couldn't bend down. And here I am. I was a Hall of Fame athlete. I pulled a cement truck a football field length. Like, just wrap your mind about that for a moment. I used to walk out with 700 pounds on my back to load my nervous system to squat. And here I am getting these implants, the butt implants. Even I had issues with the breast implants when I got them. They had capillary contractions where the tissue around it forms a knot.
Mhm.
And the implant forms like this knot inside of it. I it was it was 8 years I walked around, and nobody in my family knew that I got the butt implants, especially. They knew I got the breast implants. But I walked around with almost 10 years of shame. This was a time where people weren't getting butt implants. Like, they aren't talking about it. The Kardashians had just gotten them. Like this was, you know, you don't do that. And especially like I'm a school teacher too. What do I need them for, right? It was just something in my psyche because let's just call it like it is on the other side of my healing. I had a very hard time accepting myself
Mhm.
as I was, even though I had such accomplishments as a Hall of Fame athlete. I had those accomplishments as an athlete, but who was I as a woman? And I was not used to the world looking at me as a woman. Excuse me. I was used to men looking at me and sizing me up.
Mhm.
Most women never get that experience, but the ones who do know where I'm coming from and what I'm talking about. And so, and it was during a time too where with my weightlifting career that I was so strong that people were even questioning if I was a woman, I mean, people try to press you wherever you are, especially wherever we are. If when we start getting good, of course we're going to hear talk from the other side. It's just natural.
Mhm.
So instead of, my young 20-something-year-old mind, instead of just like filtering these things out, I started absorbing it more. And like that that was one of the pieces to the puzzle. And I'm sure as many women know, like we have many pieces to the puzzle that culminates us. That was one piece of the puzzle that encouraged me psychologically to get implants because I was questioning who I was as a woman. But, by the end of those 10 years, I mean, I could barely walk. I couldn't even walk out of my house. Here I was, they were recruiting me for the US bobsled team 15 years ago.
Mhm.
One of the fastest people. And now I can't walk.
Mhm.
So imagine I've been on both sides of the coin, and I feel that this gives me the humility, the edge, the understanding, and the ability to just cut right through the garbage in terms of connecting with women
Mhm.
and really connecting with our why. Why do we do the things that we do? And asking ourselves a question, why do we put the expectations of the cultural norms and the program that we've been brought up into, why do we put that above ourselves? And really, that question helped me dig deep and it helped me on my healing journey. And to be honest, I couldn't be where I am today. I most likely would not be alive today if it wasn't for my business, HOTE Healing Oasis.
Wow.
And it's interesting too, because in opening a business, I never thought that it would save my life.
Mhm.
But it really did. It
Mhm.
really did.
Okay. And now that you have this business, I want to dive a little bit deeper because I'm sure that throughout this entire journey you went through, I mean, it's an incredible journey that you kind of bring that perspective and you bring everything you've learned to your clients.
Oh
So a
yeah.
little bit deeper into kind of what your practice provides. Because I think when people think about medical practice, they think it's either you're going to your primary care doctor that, oh, I have a flu, I have a cold, I was getting my checkup, or you look on the other side, the aesthetic side, which is kind of more like medical spas, plastic surgeons. But yours is very much wellness. And I think that many people don't understand that. So, like the detox, the importance of sleep, of cellular regeneration, which maybe people have never heard the term before. So, could you talk a little bit about the services you offer and kind of what does it do for someone as a whole?
Yeah, it's interesting. As I was like a pioneer in the weightlifting world, I really feel myself to be a pioneer in the business world and in the health and wellness space. Because just like you said, there's either in our culture, in our Western world, there's those two practices, right? Going to a medical doctor or going to a medi spa. But what we are is we are a tech-based wellness center that uses time-tested technologies. So the technologies have over 20 years of international research. All these technologies that we have, from infrared sauna to cold plunge to blood flow therapy, etc. We have 13 services. All of these devices work to help with cellular regeneration, help your body detox, heal, relax, restore itself naturally by increasing blood flow. So, blood flow is our fountain of youth. And as we age, our body loses its ability to have its blood flow properly, like a river. And so when we are exposed to the almost million chemicals that we're exposed to every day, and the average American consumes literally a credit card's worth of microplastics every week.
Mm. Wow.
What happens to these toxins that are in our waters, our water bottle, all of our food packaging? Now they're in our clothing, they're in everything. These plastics, these microplastics, um, tons of chemicals. The average woman almost 10 years ago had over 80 chemicals that she used like in just her beauty products before she walked out of the house. So now that number has gone up exponentially. And when we look at even fertility rates decreasing, why? because the blood can't flow. And the blood can't flow because of toxins. And so we have environmental toxins, we have mental toxins from stress and from our environment. And we need to expel these toxins, especially with these foreign toxins, et cetera, in our lifestyle, in the air, um, in our detergents, everything. Our body can't get them out naturally. So our body wants to heal itself naturally. It just needs to be given the proper support. So all of our services individually and collectively support that healing. So does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. So, in what situation would someone be in where it's like, okay, I'm suffering from this or I'm suffering from that? I need to go see Dr. Jessica. What would those conditions be where they would want to come see you and get the benefit from what you're offering?
Sure. Well, our clients range from really anyone on the spectrum that has blood flow, which is all of us. So we have people coming into the center that are young. We have parents coming with their kids because their kids have allergies, right? Allergens are a toxin. Um, Asthma, breathing issues. We have a device called Norse, Nors, that my husband, Dr. Peter, and I created. That's 4 treatments in one. So it's salt, it's red light, it's all the benefits of a salt cave in 20 minutes, but it's your own private booth. And the salt is getting pushed in while oxygen is also getting pushed into the chamber. And so we have clients, like I said, young, family, people who want to just detoxify and relax and recover from either their workouts or they're getting ready for an event or they just want to feel better overall, people with sleep issues, with chronic pain, with just acute onset pain. So we have people with life debilitating illnesses to, like I said, people that are just looking to de-stress. So it's men, it's women, it's families, it's really anybody on that spectrum. The beauty is, if we talk about one of the devices, which is very popular, the infrared sauna has been around for over 40 years, but it has over 30 proven medical benefits. So it's basically HOTE Healing Oasis is literally your one-stop shop to healing. It's a healing playground. Because, for example, when you go in the infrared, yes, you're detoxifying. Okay. But generally, as people, we want more whys. Okay, I'm detoxifying, but if there's 30 proven medical benefits, my blood is flowing faster. It's great for your skin. It's going to revitalize your skin, your hair, open up your lungs, help with sleep, help your muscles relax, help you recover more instantly. It's going to help your nervous system release excess hormones. And a lot of these toxins are endocrine disruptors. So they disrupt the thyroid, they disrupt our hormones. They're called obesogens because they literally make people obese because the body doesn't understand what this foreign toxin is. So it can't expunge it out, it can't expel it out. So you're looking at something like the infrared sauna and our other devices that you're not just getting detox and you're feeling and looking better on a variety of levels in 30 minutes. And for example, being in the infrared sauna, 30 minutes in there is equal to a 4 mile run. You're burning up to 600 calories. They're anti-aging, lower stress. So the beauty of it is that when you come to HOTE Healing Oasis, we do an intake with you. That way we can learn about your health needs, do a health assessment, and see what services work best for you to try first to support you on that healing journey. Now, if you came in and decided to get one of our packages, you're not going to go wrong with any of it because all of it's going to help you on a cellular level. There just might be some services that are better for you if you're dealing with pain or if you want sleep.
Mhm. Okay.
Either way, you're going to get the synthesis of all of it upon leaving. And we've never had anybody who's left that ever regretted coming in. It's really all smiles all the time. And shout out to our members and our clients. Thank you so much to this community. You know, we've been in business for We're going on our ninth year, and it's really been an honor to and a privilege to service this community and for them to also teach me and hold me accountable in my own way for my own healing journey.
Mhm. Now, I'm sure that there's a lot of misconceptions, a lot of myths that you hear from your clients, because this is I mean, a lot of these streams have been around for a while, but I think the term biohacking is relatively new to most, like the average person. So
Mhm.
what would you say are some of those common misconceptions or those common myths that you hear most often?
So, I follow a lot of biohackers. I'm in the space a lot. Really, number one, some of the misconceptions, that's what you're asking,
Mhm.
right? Some of the misconceptions. It's the technology that's helping your body to heal itself. Like our body wants to heal itself,
Mhm.
but food alone is not going to help. Like changing our diet is great, but it's not going to be the 100% answer
Mhm.
because even our food is contaminated. I remember like even it was maybe about 8 months ago or so, Whole Foods had a whole thing come out where they were sending their food to China, like and the food that was certified organic in another country, I believe it was China, and then coming in to the US, but not having to hit certain standards because it was grown somewhere else.
Mhm.
So we don't even know what we're eating. We
Mhm.
don't even know what's in these microplastics. And when we look at these big food corporations now, they're sneaking different ingredients in. And like, for example, natural flavors, that could be like one of 1,000 things.
Mhm.
So, number one, eating to common misconceptions, people think, oh, if I just eat right, then I'm going to detox. No, you're not. That's one part of the equation, again, that I learned when I was 16 years old, right? It's not just food, it's mindset, it's lifestyle. I guess another misconception is mindset. Like, a lot of people feel, maybe there's no time. There's no time to go and do these sorts of things, or women might feel, and men, like I'm selfish, or I should be with my family. Um, and so I'm taking time out for me if I come to do these services. No, actually, taking a break is how we bounce back faster and stronger. Einstein did that with his work, right? When he got stuck on a problem, he would remove himself and go do something else entirely different, like play the violin, and then come back to it. So I see Ho as like a place where we can just speed our way into recovery, into a big reset instead of having to wait 6 months to go on vacation and wait to go have dinner out on the weekend in order to relax. No, when you're using these services at HOTE Healing Oasis, you're releasing the dose, dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, endorphins. So you really literally just feel like you had great sex, went on vacation, had your favorite meal, and bought your favorite things. So these dopamine hits, these other things that we're looking for, this other stress that's bombarding our mind, in 20 minutes, it could be completely gone just by changing the frequency of our body and our cellular energy. And that's what's been proven too. So that other common misconception is, oh, in order to relax, I need to go on vacation, or in order to feel good, I have to wait for the weekend and just stay in there in my pajamas or go out with some friends and go drinking. No, our body can reset itself really fast. Sometimes it takes a little bit to heal, and it depends on the issue. Sometimes it heals rapidly. So our body is a miraculous healing machine. And so the devices that we have support that process.
Okay. And for most people, and I know this is going to depend on the individual, but generally speaking, about how long would someone expect to start seeing or feeling the results when they start going through all these protocols?
I'm glad you asked because with our membership, we literally have a 30-day money back guarantee if you use 80% of the services that you get, whether it's a 4 pack or it's a 30 pack. And we've never had anybody cash that in.
Wow.
We've never had anybody in all these years cash that in because it works. And
Mhm.
it's not like I'm a practitioner, right? But it's not like a practitioner is writing a prescription for you or writing up a plan. No, once you start doing these services, so with our memberships, you have access to the 13 different services that we have. And I call it a healing playground because during that month, you get to select which services you want to try. And upon joining, we give you some free services, modified session times. That way you can learn about the technology, feel how its frequency feels with your body, and then really make a clear, safe, educated, and intuitive decision about if you want to go forward and use your sessions for that service. Does that make sense?
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, so then my job is not to tell you what to do, but we're just the people that work there are just your guides, right? We know all the ins and outs about the technologies. We know how to ask the right questions so you can kind of feel into the space in your mind and your body, and then really press a button and the technology does the work.
Mm. Wow.
But it's not just it is the technology, but we've also created a very sacred space. I
Mm.
mean, the decor, the feng shui in this space, the chromotherapy, which is light therapy, the sound therapy, the aromatherapy, all of this ties into the equation of your nervous system. So we've hand selected every piece that is in that facility, every piece of decor, every nuance of lighting, just so and Dr. Peter, my husband, Dr. Peter and I have had a lot of trauma training. And that has been part of our journey into life, into our PhDs, and also into our other careers that we had previously, into really helping to decode the nervous system upon entering the facility. So that way the services can work at an even greater rate. So it's a blend of science meets spirituality, of flow meets science and concrete technologies. So it's a really you'd have to experience it. It's kind of like going to an art museum in its own right. Um, but it is a place that really helps people restore and recover themselves exponentially.
Okay. Now, I'm sure that you have a bunch of great stories to tell, but is there maybe one story that stands out in your mind that's memorable, or maybe it was a really just challenging case that you can share and how you were able to get them a great outcome at the end of it?
Yeah, I mean, there's several amazing stories. I think about a couple women that we had with cancer,
Mm.
and you know, honestly, the one woman, she had cancer, breast cancer, stage 4, young, and it was during COVID.
Mm.
And, you know, the government wanted to shut us down. And it's like, how come they're keeping, you're thinking to yourself, why are they keeping liquor stores open, which is an absolute poison, closing down churches and closing down health facilities when we are servicing the community. We're a health center.
Mhm.
So she, helped us and helped fight with us to keep the facility open. And we made the front page of the paper and really advocated for wellness because we fell under 3 areas of the state's mandates in order to stay open. And we closed for a little bit, but we kept our doors open because some of our clients really needed our services.
Mhm.
Another one was another lady with cancer that she had just fluid in her lungs. And that's what gave Peter and I the 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 insight and the strength and the foresight to really want to create something that could help her. And that's when we created the Norse, which is the private salt room with oxygen in it to help the lungs and help COPD and fluid in the lungs and any skin issues. So yeah, I mean we have lots of different stories. We also, take retreats to South America. We work with the Quechua tribe in Ecuador, and we bring We bring people there once a year to learn about indigenous medicine, holistic medicine, and try some of the plant medicines like ayahuasca in a very sacred container that follows the rules and the protocol of the indigenous, not the Western world and how we think about plant medicine, but offering the proper emotional and external supports for that and communal supports.
Okay.
So,
And
yeah.
where do you think the future of wellness is going with the biohacking and these technology? I mean, the technology seems like it's been there largely. It's just a matter of getting the word out to people. But where do you think the future is going with this?
Yeah, I mean, I think the future is endless. I mean, number one, COVID seemed like it was bad, but within every bad, there's good, right? What is good without the bad? I mean, at least what happened during this time is people started waking up and questioning, who can I trust? What is the truth? This is my body. Let me take my health into my own hands. Let me look into it. And so what I see the future of biohacking is really the future. Biohacking is really coming back into our body, taking ownership of our choices collectively, our food choices, the choices of who we hang out with, the choices of our mindset and how we decide to go forward in our life. And so the future of biohacking is the future of coming back into our bodies. And as people start to wake up to the lies that we've been told and to the truth of what is, and to questioning this truth, I see people coming back home to themselves, which is the exactly what HOTE Healing Oasis is all about. And we hold that ground for you to come back home into your body and heal on a cellular level so you can do and be all the things that you were created, designed, and joyfully destined to do.
Well, that's a very powerful statement. Now, for your practice, the HOTE Healing Oasis, what's your vision for the practice?
So, my vision, our vision for the practice is really to help as many people as possible.
Hmm.
You know, we're here, Peter and I are here on this earth as you are to be in service to others. And we all have our different way of being in service and helping out our community, whether it's somebody who's just doing tech, right? That's still helping out our world. And somebody who's cleaning garbage, that's being in service too, because what would the world look like? So our way of being in service to humanity is by holding space for them on their healing journey and helping them to face the things about themselves, whether it's physical, emotional, etc., that maybe they have a hard time facing, and really holding the container so somebody can take the reins and heal themselves.
Very well said. Well, Dr. Jessica, I have one last question for you. But before I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at hotehealingoasis.com. Now,
Yes.
last question I have for you, Dr. Jessica, is what does beauty mean to you? I'm really curious to see your answer just because of your background, the journey you've been through. So I'm really curious about what your answer is going to be to this question.
So beauty is compassion, and compassion is beauty. That's really what I feel about it. I mean, it might not be the answer that you were looking for, but when we can have compassion for ourselves and for people around us, right? Not feeling sorry. Compassion is not feeling sorry for people. It's being empathetic. It's being helpful. It's being in service. It's giving, right? It's giving to ourselves and to others. Being compassionate is beautiful. And that's what I think it is. And and with that compassion comes an onslaught of joy, right? When we're compassionate to others and we can feel for them, we can grieve with them, we can be joyful with them, we can be joyful with ourselves. We don't have to take ourselves so seriously. Like that's beautiful, And so I think it's serious, but it's not all that serious. I mean, we're here for the ride and none of us are getting out alive. So we might as well just be compassionate with each other and choose love again and again. And like I said, not take it so seriously. And that is the most beautiful thing.
Well said. Well, There you have it. Jessica sharing her expertise. Now, Dr. Jessica, where can people contact you in the business?
Sure. So, I mean, you can find me on the website. So it's HOTE, HAUTE, healingoasis.com. You could also find us on Instagram, on TikTok, and what else? Yeah, they could find my information on the website. They can email me, Jessica at hotehealingoasis.com. And yeah, I look forward to meeting everybody who has like even the slightest little inclination to meet me because, like I say, I don't know everything. I'm just walking through this life as a student, even though I have lots of different degrees. The more I learn, the more I realize how little I actually know. So, you know, I think just being on this healing journey. And I would love to just connect with other people, see what their perspectives are. And, maybe they're interested in coming on a retreat. Maybe you're interested in coming on a retreat. You're interested in checking out Hope. Maybe you want to open up a Hope. We're in the process of franchising. So these are things that are going to be wrapped up within the next year. And I would love to link arms with just incredible people. Honestly, Daniel, I feel like I've gotten so much from my business that it's amazing in the sense that I never knew I would get with opening up a heart-centered business. My all my best friends have come from my business. Like being in complete alignment. I feel so super grateful. Like this is the first time in my life that I feel like I'm exactly where I need to be. And I thank all the teachers that have led me there, all the haters, all the people who tried to bring the business down, all the family who said that they were going to come and they didn't, and even the implants for their being teachers to me and for them ruining me really gave me the tenacity to understand that my body, our bodies want to heal itself naturally. It just needs to be given the proper support. So I'm looking forward to meeting everybody out there who wants to meet me.
Well, this was awesome, Dr. Jessica. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing your knowledge and your expertise. And hopefully we can spread the word about this to other people so they know that there's another option out there for their health.
Thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time, the energy, and creating such a safe container for women. I know what you do is so instrumental in helping women get their message out, get their voice out, have their stories be heard. And, this is how we've connected with ourselves and our ancestors through generation is through storytelling. So thank you for holding such good, solid, compassionate, beautiful space for that. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you, all that you're doing for the community.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.